ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 मंत्र 7 नान्तःप्रज्ञं न बहिष्प्रज्ञं न उभयतःप्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानगनं न प्रज्ञं नाप्रज्ञम् अदृष्टम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यमलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेश्यम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारं प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तं शिवम् अद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः. पेज 52, लाइन नंबर 5 in भाष्यम्. अतः एव अदृष्टम् यस्माद् अदृष्टं तस्माद् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यं कर्मेन्द्रियैः अलक्षणम् अलिङ्गम् इति एतद् अनुमेयम् इत्यर्थः. अतः एव अचिन्त्यम् अतः एव अव्यपदेश्यं शब्दैः एकात्मप्रत्ययसारं जाग्रदादिस्थानेषु एकः अयमात्मा इति अव्यभिचारी यः प्रत्ययः तेन अनुसरणीयम्. So atah eva drishyam, seventh mantra describes the nature of oneself. Who am I in reality? Means knowing this, you drop the notions about yourself. That is what all this nanta pragnam, nabahish pragnam, etc., etc. One takes oneself to be waker, etc., and that is not the reality. Well, definitely waker, etc., is me. Wakerhood, etc., are dharma of the sthani. Bhashyakara is going to say sthani means this atma, definitely. But they are just pratiti. Really nothing is happening. There is no world at all. I mean, there is no world, there is no other than experience which is a pratiti. All that is there is just one consciousness. That's what Mandukya ultimately wants to convey. There is no karta, there is no bhokta, there are no experiences, there is no world. In reality, I mean, at a level of experience, we are not negating experiences, but really speaking, just a pratiti kind of a thing. That's what ultimately the mithyatvam is. So that's a negation. So, but anyway, now it is said here, ataheva adrishtam, yasmad adrishtam tasmad avyavaharyam. So Shankaracharya ji goes to the next level of description here. So means he wants to say Atma cannot be known. There are two things in the world. One is a knower, other is a known. Atma is neither a knower, Atma can never be known. That's ultimately, therefore, Atma is really distinct from knower and known. And therefore Atma is definitely devoid of knower and known. That's called prapanchopashamam. There is no prapancha at all. Prapanchopashamam, shamam is rahitam, upashamam. There is nothing called knower in this world. There is nothing called known also. All that is there is one Atma, nothing else. That's what it is ultimately. So, the first, the antaprajnam, the bahishprajnam, etc., the knowerhood in Atma is negative. There is no waker, there is no dreamer, there is no this. So, that is one level. Ultimately, to prove Atma is Turiya, first thing is negated is the knowerhood in Atma. There is no knower. Now, Atma cannot be known. That is negated. Adrashtam. So, therefore, adrashtam. Adrashtam means, well, definitely Atma cannot be known through pratyaksha pramana, etc. So, it's not even an object of a pratyaksha, perception, because it's devoid of gunas, attributes. If any particular guna which is not there in a object, then a particular indriya cannot grasp it. Like a air. Air does have a definitely a shabda. Air definitely has a sparsha, right? Therefore, it can be the sound of the air can be heard definitely through this sense organ, perceived through this ears. And definitely air has a sparsha also, and therefore your skin can definitely experience of the touch, hot air, cold air, etc. So that is also there. But air cannot be seen by the eyes. Why? Because this particular indriya can grasp, can perceive a guna called form. Well, that is not there in the air. And therefore, vayu or air cannot be seen by the eyes. So, if Atma is free from all the gunas, Shabda Sparsha, Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Arasam, Nityam, Agandhavat, free from. It doesn't have any sound, and it doesn't have any form, it doesn't have any smell, it doesn't have any taste. Then definitely all the sense objects together, Jnanendriyehi Adrashtam. So, well, it cannot be perceived. It's not an object of the sense objects. Sense organs, I'm sorry. Anyway, then then it says, Yasmad Adrashtam Tasmada Vyavaryam. Bhashyakara says, Bhashyakara corrects. Adrashtam, therefore avyavaryam. Avyavaryam, therefore agrahyam, etc. He connects that way. Avyavaryam. Let's take first agrahyam and then we'll take avyavaryam. Agrahyam means what? Karmendriyehi agrahyam. Well, not graspable. One acharya says agrahyam means, well, other than pratyaksha, there are other means of knowledge. Well, that is, so Atma cannot be grasped by other means of knowledge other than pratyaksha. Because pratyaksha has already been negated, right? Adrishtam. Therefore, agrahyam should be taken as other means of knowledge. What are other means of knowledge? Anumana, Anumana is there, inference is there, and then Arthapatti is there, and like that. So, Shabda, etc. So, other means of knowledge is available with this human being. He cannot, that human being cannot grasp Atma. And, or here Bhashyakara says, that's one Acharya tells like that. Here Bhashyakara says, let's take Adrishtam means Jnanendriyehi Adrishtam. Agrahyam is Karmendriyehi Agrahyam. Yeah. So cannot be grasped through your hands. Cannot be grasped through your hands, etc. Anyway. So Adrishtam Jnanendriyehi Agocharam. Agrahyam Karmendriyehi Agocharam. Avishayam. Atah eva avyavaryam. There are two types of transactions for this, for the experiencer possible. And one is a Gnana Vyavara, transaction in terms of a knowledge. Means you see something, that's an object of sight. You hear something, object of your hearing. So that is one type of a transaction. Gnana Vyavara. Through Gnanendriyas, of course. And the other type of transaction is through organs of action. Either you catch, either you give it. Right? Adanam, pradanam. Either you catch hold of, either you leave. You give it up. That is also not possible. And therefore avyavaryam, because karmendrihi agrahyam, jnanendrihi agocharam, right? And therefore definitely it is avyavaryam. There are only two types of vyavara possible, transaction possible with this world, and that is in these two forms. And Atma, well, definitely, since it is not an object of, not graspable through the object and the organs of action, not perceived by the sense organs, therefore no transaction is possible. Therefore, avyavaryam. So that's how agrahyam I have taken before. And so because there are only two types of transactions with the world that you know very well in this waking state, etc. That is in terms of a transaction in the form of the jnanam takes place through your sense organs, or transaction in the form of a grasping with your organs of action, etc. Then that is, Atma is not an object for that also. Therefore, avyavaryam. And then, if it is there, then it becomes useless, right? Because no transaction takes place means it is useless. Like, they say a fake note, you cannot do anything with that. 1,000 rupee before several years, Modi Sahib removed certain currency, right? So then definitely demonetization. And then definitely that note, you have 1,000 rupee note. Suppose if you have right now a 2,000 rupee note, I don't remember. 1,000 rupee, I think. Whatever. 1,000 or 2,000. So it's useless. Therefore, if you cannot grasp it through the organs of action, if you cannot perceive through your sense organs, then what is the use of that? So it is useless, it is invalid. In a Neshkarmi Siddhi Bhashakara, I'm sorry, Sureshwaracharya ji says, Atma serves its purpose on its own, being Atma. That's it, being Atma. Without Atma, nothing is there, whatever useful things you say in this world, all will not have any existence without Atma. The Atma proves its existence by itself. Swartha. All other objects are parartha. All other objects in the world are useful. Ultimately, they have to prove their usefulness. Atma has not to prove its usefulness. Just being Atma, pervading everything, lending existence to everything, being a content of everything, essence of everything, right? Therefore, Atma proves its usefulness by its own, by being itself. It doesn't require. Whereas objects have to prove its existence. Objects have to prove its usefulness. That's how certain objects are useful. Same objects cannot prove usefulness tomorrow. We throw it out also. That's how it is. So anyway, it's not useless. Even if it is avyavaram, it is not useless. Okay, alakshanam. Alingam iti etat ananumeyam ityartha. Therefore, so because, agrahyam has been said, right? Yes, I'm giving a little different. So agrahyam has been said, means Atma cannot become an object of, let's take that. Agrahyam means grasped by other means of knowledge, other than perception. That's it. So then what is the first means of knowledge by which a object can be grasped? That is the inference. We infer many things in the world, right? And therefore, well, if it is not available for perception, then should be available for other means of knowledge. Atma should be available for other means of knowledge, like Anumanam, etc. While Atma is not available for other means of knowledge, also cannot be grasped by other means of knowledge, therefore agrahyam, and therefore alakshanam. Alakshanam means, Pashakara says, alingam. Why it is not available for other means of knowledge? Why Atma cannot be inferred? Alingam. If it cannot be inferred, if it is ananumeyam, well then definitely alingam. It may not have any lingam, it may not have any indicator. We know very well example, and that is for inferring the fire, there is a standard example. For inferring fire, what is the lingam? Well, the dhuma, the smoke becomes a lingam. You are seeing a smoke, and therefore, even though you don't see the fire, you can definitely infer there is a fire there. And same way, so that if it is a anumana yogyam, if it is grasp, anumana vishayam, well, then definitely it must have a lingam. It must have some indicator by which we infer. So like the fire is inferred. But here, if agrahyam means it cannot be inferred, Atma cannot be inferred even, then definitely the Atma must be free from what? Lingam. Atma doesn't have any linga at all, a clue. Lakshanam also, they say sometime, Lakshanam is a definition. Alakshanam is Atma cannot be defined. Means, like our Tatastha Lakshana, Swarupa Lakshana, etc., different definitions of Brahman. That's the normal meaning. But really speaking, Swarupa Lakshanam, etc., also, it's all negation. Like Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, etc., there also there is a lot of negation. That's how even word Satyam doesn't directly, it's not a Vachyam for the word Brahman. Yeah, if it is a Vachyam, it's a direct meaning. Then there is no negation. There is no negation. Like pot. When I say word pot, well, then immediately there is object. There is no negation there. It's just a Vachyam. Direct meaning. So Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam are suppose a direct, those are the words which directly refer to Brahman. No. There also there is a Lakshana. Right? We know this. Ajal, Lakshana, etc. Generally word Satyam cannot be, word Satyam refers to certain truth. Or Satyam refers to that which is existent now. That's it. This is called Satyam. World is called Satyam. This is called Satyam, etc. Why? Because it exists. I can see that it is there right now. So what exists now, and so you experience, that's called Satyam. That's how we say world is Satyam. So that's what meaning we know. No. Satyam means the cause of even the world. Oh, how can I say that? Well, then you have to do Lakshana there, not Vachyam. So there also a lot of things that Vachyam is negated and all that. So basically there is no Swarupa Lakshana also. No word can directly refer to Brahman. But Brahman also means negation. Brahman means limitless. Limitless means what? Limitless means, one thing we know, that is limitless, and that is Akasha. Oh, so Brahman means Akasha? Or no? Then what? Which is free from limitation in terms of time, limitation in terms of place, limitation in terms of a Vastu. Oh, Akasha is there then, but definitely it's the one Bhuta. There is another Bhuta called Vayu, then another Bhuta called Agni. Oh. And therefore, definitely it has a Vastu Paricheda. Yeah. If Akasha is everything, then why should we have talk about Panch Mahabhutas? Akasha is a one Mahabhuta. There is another Mahabhuta, another Vastu called Vayu, another Vastu called Agni. Let the Akasha pervade everything, but Vayu is a Vayu. Akasha is Akasha. Agni is Agni. Right? Vastu Paricheda is there. Therefore, definitely Brahman means which is really free from the limitations of even a object-wise limitation, attribute-wise limitation, no attribute-wise limitation also. It's a free from all attributes. My God. So this is how you have to negate. No word Anantam or anything. I mean, no word really directly refers to the Atma or Brahman. No. You have to do Lakshana. Any word in any language refers to the objects of the world. That's it. That's how we say all words are meaningful. Correct. All words are meaningful means every word has a meaning. What is the meaning? Particular object of the world. That's it. That's how we say the language cannot have any meaningless word. Means there cannot be any word which does not refer to any object in the world. Like Gagabuga. What is Gagabuga? Refers to what? Is there an object called Gagabuga? No. Therefore, we say it is a meaningless word. Look at that. It's a meaningless word. Then what about Atma, which is not even, which is a vilakshanam from the Jagat, which is a cause of the world, which is the very essence of the world. Really speaking, even not an essence of the world. It has no connection to the world. Atma is Atma. It is not even a cause of the world. Because otherwise, through that we'll go to the, from the effect we go to the cause. There is a relationship. Really, there is no relationship. What is the relationship between the snake and its cause called rope? What is the relationship? No relationship. Because when one of the object is mithya, then the relationship between that rope and the mithya snake also is mithya. Please understand this. Could you follow what I am saying? When you say there is a hand and this is the object, right? I say there is a relationship between object, this object, pen, and the hand. What is the relationship? Adhara adheya. One is a supporter, other is supported. Right? I can say that, definitely. So there is a relationship between a pen and hand, and I can establish a relation in terms of supporter, supported. Why? That relationship is there because both are enjoying the same reality. But suppose if I say hand, and there is a horn of a Swami here. Look at a horn of a Swami. I have pulled out my horn, like that Ganapati has taken out this. So I have pulled out my horn and kept it here. And I say there is a relationship between a hand and a horn of Swami. What is the relationship? Adhara adi. What is that? Where is relationship? When one is totally a kalpita. When one thing is a kalpita, the relationship between the adhara and this kalpita adheya is also kalpita. And therefore, really speaking, there is no cause-effect relationship between Brahman and Jagat. Then how will we talk about? So we assume that this is when we take this world as with a certain reality, then we say, well, there is a relationship between this karyam, the Jagat, and this cause called Brahman. Really speaking, when you understand Brahman, when you come to the cause, when you land to the cause, Brahman, oh my God, we say all that is there is Brahman. Where is world? There is no world. It's exactly like that. When you understand, when you take pot as a reality, then you will say, well, clay is its cause. And then once you say clay is its cause, then you checked in all entire pot that there is nothing other than just form, right? A form, which is a kalpita. Kalpita means a vyavara kalpita. So that form has no independent existence. All that is there is just clay. Oh, if all that is there is clay, then where is the relationship between a pot and clay? Because all that is there is just clay. Oh, then, well, clay is not even a cause of the pot, because pot is mithya. When pot is mithya, really speaking, well, there cannot be relationship between a pot which is karyam and clay that is karanam, because this is mithya. Therefore, the relationship also is mithya. All that is there is just clay. Same way here. First, you take world as a real, because that's our understanding. So, Shastra goes along with that. Shastra talks about even creation also. Oh, it has come from these five elements. Five elements have come from this Brahman, etc. Tasmad va etasmad, or anything. And talks about creation. Oh, entire creation. Now, well, find the cause. And when you find, means it has come from the Brahman, means all that is there is Brahman. If all that is there is Brahman in this creation, all that is there is just is consciousness, is consciousness, is consciousness, is consciousness. You cannot get rid of it. Try to get rid of is consciousness from any form. You cannot. You just cannot. Body is. Body consciousness is. Mind is. Mind consciousness is. Hunger is. Hunger consciousness is. Blood is. Blood consciousness is. Cell is. Cell consciousness is. DNA is. DNA consciousness is. Mitochondria is. Mitochondria consciousness is. How will you remove his consciousness? How will you remove it? Oh, that is the cause. That pervades. Cause only pervades. That's a material only. That only is a material which pervades. All that is there in the pot is just clay. Every atom, everything is just clay, 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 clay. All that is there is clay. Oh, where is pot? There is no pot. All that is there is consciousness. Now, where is a cause and where is effect? Where is cause and where is effect? Where is pot? Then, if pot is established, then I will say that clay is a cause. Pot itself is not established. So, this is called apavada. So, anyway, this is my point is alakshanam. I want to say in this sense also. Well, tatastha lakshanam is jagat karanam, and swarupa lakshanam also. No word can directly give you, can have a direct meaning of Atma. No word. All the words belongs to any language, belongs to, has a meaning in terms of the objects of the world. That's it. And Atma is not this one of the object which you indicate by one particular word called Brahman or this or that. Even but Atma also is like that. All words are like that. Anyway, alakshanam is alingam, that way also we can take. Alakshanam is they cannot be defined also by swarupa or tatastha. And ataheva achintyam, well, therefore, how will you grasp through the thought? I want to, that is what in Nididhyasanam. In Nididhyasanam, I am sitting in Nididhyasanam with an abiding contemplative mind. And now, with a thought, I want to, that's the akhandakara vritti also. There is akhandakara vritti. So, akhandakara vritti means what? A Atma which is akhanda. Akhanda means without any division. That Atma which is whole, indivisible, whole. That I want to I want to objectify it in my thought. Then I will have akhandakara vritti. Achintyam. You cannot. Because the content of every thought is Atma. Then that Atma cannot become objectified by the thought. Every thought exists in Atma, sustained in Atma. Whole thought is Atma. Whole thought is Atma. Neither thought can get rid of Atma, neither thought can grasp Atma. Yeah, that's what it is. No wave can get rid of the water, no wave can grasp the water. Because the very water is the content in and through, all over wave. There is no wave without what? So therefore this effort we should drop. I want to objectify. I want to see the somebody whole Atma, whole, indivisible. Because you talk about Akhandakar. So I want to objectify. Akhanda means indivisible, means whole, limitless. I want to objectify. That's how when somebody you say Brahman, I really try to objectify Brahman. Brahman means you said limitless. I want to objectify limitless. Chota mind. This chota can objectify, even you cannot objectify whole space. You objectify the space which is in front of you. That's it. Therefore, it is to be understood as very aham, not as an object of aham. Anyway, so this is achintyam, cannot be thought over, cannot be mentally conceived. It's not an object. And then ataeva avyapadesham, neither you cannot, it doesn't have any lakshana, it cannot be perceived, it cannot be grasped by the karmendriyas, etc. And it doesn't have any lingam, you cannot infer it also, you cannot, other means of knowledge, agrahyam, other means of knowledge also, through that you cannot objectify. Well, and therefore you cannot even thought about it. Therefore, avyapadeshyam, it cannot be verbally expressed. Shabdaihi avyapadeshyam. Bhashyakara says, ataheva avyapadeshyam shabdaihi. Because anything you conceive, well, chintyam, then you verbalize. Therefore, you cannot even express through the words. Many things are there. So many, the Atma alone is like that, or any other thing is there. Many things are there which you experience but you cannot verbalize. Many things. Yeah. All you experience through your jnanendriyas. How will you express? Like a smell of a rose. Please describe. The smell of a rose is like what? Express through the words. Taste of a sugar. Swamiji, it is a sweet. Sweet means what? Please tell me. Oh, sweet means, you have you tasted this rasgulla? Like that. Rasgulla, whatever the taste of rasgulla is there, is the taste of sugar also is there. Ye kya baat hai? Is it a description? So therefore, what you experience even through the senses also, the smell of a jasmine is like what? Express in words. No, smell of a jasmine. Have you smelled something in India? In summer we make these malas and all that. That jasmine, that's the smell of that jasmine. Kya baat hai? So many things you experience you cannot verbalize. So many things are there. What is hunger? Hunger means, pangs of how will you express? Hunger means you will show up physically. Put your hands here on the stomach. Generally the children, they do. Mom, I am hungry. That's so therefore, this is not a description. They are indicating, but it's not a clear description. What is hunger? What is thirst? Anyway. So shabdaihi avyapadeshyam cannot be expressed through the word. So this is in the introduction is already told. Shabda pravritti nimitta abhavat. That you can bring here. So because there itself he gave a big introduction to mantra 7, Bhashyakara, that why all this negation, nisheda mukha pramana, why? Nanta pragnam, na bahish pragnam, na upayata pragnam, na. Why like this? When I want to know the Atma for my moksha, when I came here and opened this 7th mantra and you are saying Atma is not that, is this a way of defining? You have to clearly define Atma is like this. That's what gives me knowledge. Not this is a way. No, it is not a waker, it is not this. Shabda pravrutti nimitta abhava. No words can engage well to there is no nimitta at all for the words to come out, to express through the words. There is no nimitta because it doesn't have a, it cannot be perceived, it cannot be this, etc., etc. It doesn't have any guna. Okay, we have seen that in introduction. Then Bhashyakara says, Ekatma pratyasaram jagradadi sthaneshu ekah eva ayam atma iti avyavichariyah pratyayah tena anusaraniyam. Ekatma pratyasaram is explaining. So this is one explanation, and then he gives another explanation for the same word, athava. Or you can take the other, you can look at this word ekatma pratyasaram differently also. How? Well, ekah atma pratyayah sarah pramanam yasya turiyasya adhigame tat turiyam ekatma pratyasaram. And then further, atma iti eva upasita iti shrutehe. Why Atma is ekatma pratyasaram? Why Turiya is ekatma pratyasaram? Even Upanishad says Atma iti evam upasita. Upasita janiyata. Well, no, you know the Atma like this. Like that Brihadaranyaka says. Anyway, so let's take this word and now we'll see both the interpretation. So ekaha Atma iti pratyayah. Bhashyakara, gives a vigraha. So this Turiya, it should be known like what? It should be Turiya, the Atma, is the one, Ekaha, Avyabhichari. Avyabhichari you take from that from the line, and here Ekaha Avyabhichari. Bhashyakara defines Ekaha in the Ekatma Pratyasaram as Avyabhichari. Avyabhichari means invariable. I just told you. Is consciousness. Is consciousness. Is start from the space and billions of things. All is consciousness. Is consciousness. Space, consciousness. Time consciousness. Right? And then air consciousness, etc., etc. And then comes to the mountain consciousness, ocean consciousness. All like sun consciousness, moon consciousness. So that is invariable. What is variable? The objects, forms, name forms. Name you have to take it along with. Because for any given form we have a name. That's called the languages. That is the language. It's arbitrary. Humanity has given. Anyway, so name form. So name form is variable. But the name form exists, are sustained by this is consciousness. Satchit, 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 starting from space. And therefore Satchit is Brahman, all pervading, it pervades even the space. Very content of the space anyway. So therefore, Ekaha Atma, Ekaha Avyavicari eva ayam Atma. Yaha pratyayah tena anusaraniyam. Anyway, so Ekaha means Avyavicari. It should be connected and it is invariable. So Atma, the consciousness, is one invariable entity inherent in all variables. In and through all variables, what is there is this Atma, which is invariable. Iti pratyayaha, this understanding, means this jnanam, tena anusaraniyam. Through this understanding, you arrive at this Turiya. Oh, what is invariable in the entire world? Then you find that this consciousness alone is the invariable. And consciousness is, definitely it goes without saying. Just say consciousness, or you say is consciousness, etc. So, consciousness, which is the invariable in all these variables, all the forms, iti pratyaya, that understanding, that jnanam, tena anusaraniyam, through this understanding. Tena means through that understanding, that Atma alone is the invariable thing in all variables. Well, you will arrive at. Anusaraniyam is, well, ultimately, you will arrive at, Turiya should be traced. Turiya should be traced like what? Like this. Turiya should be traced as the understanding. What type of understanding? Well, ekaha eva abhyabhichari atma pratyaya. Atma. Ekaha eva atma. That is, atma alone, the consciousness alone is the invariable in all the variables. Well, through that understanding only, you will arrive at what? Turiya. So ekatma pratyasaram is this, one of the interpretation of this Spashakara is saying is this. So Turiyam can be traced to the understanding of the consciousness as one non-invariable entity inherent in all variables. So variable it's amazing thing. It's just amazing. Even though this invariable consciousness is in all variables, present in and through all over, yet when being a variable thing, when it leaves and another variable comes, that the previous variable has not left any trace on this invariable. Like, the air moves in the space. It moves anywhere over the globe, but it will always remain within space. But such a air, definitely, even so much of space pervades in and through the air, right? All over the air, yet space remains unconnected to the air, the attributes of the air. Definitely, space doesn't have a sense, attribute of the touch. No, definitely not. So space remain definitely touchless. I am touching Swamiji, I am touching space. It's not. There is no guna of sparsha in space. That's what I mean. So asanga, I can say asanga. Space is unconnected, untainted, unaffected. Same way Atma is in and through everything, being invariable, in and through everything. Every variable is non-separate from the invariable consciousness, but while variable comes and goes, doesn't leave any trace of its attributes on Atma. Atma is asanga, still remains nirguna. And then the second, athava ekaha atma pratyaya saraha pramanam yasya turiyasya adhigame tat turiyam ekatma pratyaya saram. So that's another interpretation. And it is atma pratyaya. Atma pratyaya means self-awareness here. So ekaha atma pratyaya. So so this ekaha means, again you take this avyabhichari, invariable. Ekaha atma pratyaya, the self-awareness is invariable. So in what? In your own experiences. So take this way. Ekatma pratyaya saram means ekaha means avyabhichari, invariable. Atma pratyaya means self-awareness. That self-awareness remains invariable in all your experiences. What experiences? Jagradadishu, right? Jagradadishu, etc., all this, avastha, etc. we have seen. Balyadishu pi jagradadishu tatha. Sarvasu avasthasu. So either as your different stages of life, various experiences of the childhood and then youth and then young adult and then middle man and middle age and mid-age, etc. And now as suppose a old person. Well, in all your experiences, various stages, the self-awareness has remained. I. That's how you are able to recollect. You are able to recollect itself, shows you are very much there. Even the body has undergone change totally. The mind has undergone, psychology has changed a lot. The child psychology and adult psychology is quite different. Thoughts have changed, your memory also has undergone change, your emotions have changed, your hunger, thirst, etc. has changed, and your gross body has changed. But the self-awareness, because that's how all the stages are, but the self-awareness, I was in the child, then I was a youth, etc., etc., and the various experiences of the childhood, etc. I. That I has not undergone any change. It's not that the childhood, the I of the childhood has gone, died. No, then you cannot recollect experiences. So you know. So self-awareness basically is a invariable, balyadishvapi or jagradadishu, same thing, right? I only slept, I only am awake now, I only saw dream, I only saw dream, I only slept, I only am awake. So self-awareness is invariable. So this is a pratyabhijna. Very, very important. Pratyabhijna is the recognition, right? You have a certain memory. So right now, even in this moment, oh, before this class began, oh, I only ate the breakfast, and that the same I is now listening, as aware, as a listener. Same I as a eater, I ate the breakfast. Now same I is a listener. The eater has gone. No, but I has not undergone change. Eater, let the eater go. Even listener also will go after a few minutes. Well, then you say, I will take a walk. So I will be a walker. So then you will say what? I who has listened the class before few minutes is the I is walking as a walker. So therefore ahankara keeps changing. But you don't change. You are even witness to that. That's called recognition. So what was there as a smrutam, what was there as a in your memory is also I as that is ahankara, and what is cognizing now, right now as a hearer, etc. What is there in present now, what was there in past also ahankara, what is right now as a hearer also is ahankara. Hearer is ahankara. But you are able to say this, you are able to connect with one I, both ahankaras. I who was eating a breakfast, who was a eater of breakfast, is the I, is a listener of this talk, hearer of this talk. So therefore, that I doesn't undergo change. One I was of the past. This I is and in the present. But the one I was connecting past and present, means it was present in all the time. That way also you can say. Or Jagrada, etc. I was, deep sleeper. Then I was dreamer, etc. And then the same I is now awake at this moment. That way you say. Or Balyadishvapi. So self-awareness is invariable. That's what he says. Ekaha atma pratyaya. Saram. Saram is pramanam. Means of recognizing. What is the means of recognizing here? Is a recognition, pratyabhijna. So for what? Turiyasya adhigame. Adhigama means recognizing jnanam. Turiyasya. Knowing this turiya, this pramana, the pratyabhijna, etc., recognition is there. And in recognition, what you find that self-awareness is there all the time. And therefore, turiyam should be understood as invariable self-awareness, obtaining in all stages, or obtaining in all these different experiences of Jagrat, etc. So, anuvartamanam, Bhashyakara, I mean, the Shankaracharya ji said there, anuvartamanam. Balyadishvapi jagradadishu tatha sarvasu avasthasu anuvartamanam, which is ever present, which is continuously there. That is this self-awareness. Therefore, that definitely, that is a turiya. That's adhishthanam of the jagrat. That's adhishthanam of the waker and dreamer and deep sleeper, distinct from all the three, naturally. But all the three are not without me. In fact, I am the very content of all the three, right? Remaining invariably present in all the three, they are mutually exclusive, but I remain in them as the very content in and through. They cannot exist without me, but at the same time, I transcend also all the three. Therefore say turiya, chaturiya. That's how, that's how, even as right now you are a waker, but you are still same unconnected consciousness. And therefore, even once, suppose the class is over and you feel that let me go to sleep, you become sleeper. Definitely, then all the attributes of the waker and the waking were all gone. All gone. If any trace is left, you cannot sleep. You cannot sleep. If you are in a deep sleep means you have put, it is completely erased from you. That shows that right now also when you say I am a waker, really speaking, you are unconnected consciousness. Only thing is, unfortunately, you, if you don't know, no, we are just saying like that. So if you don't know that you are this self-awareness or your consciousness, which is yourself as a true self, then you will say I am waker. That is becomes a reality, right? And as a waker, you will have several issues. Once you say you are a waker, you are an individual. As an individual, you then whatever the roles actually are there, you take it as yourself. And every role has a issue. Father, issue. Mother, several issues. And then all, employee and these and that. All the issues. That's how waking state itself becomes a burden. Waking state should not be a burden, but it becomes a burden because you take yourself as a waker. If you say I am a consciousness with a wakerhood as an attribute, Bhashyakara is going to say sthani dharma. If wakerhood is your just attribute, which type of attribute? Incidental attribute. It's incidental. Only few hours. For few people it may not be few hours. Maybe just after class, wakerhood can go. Yeah. It's a very incidental thing. Any incidental attribute, well, definitely is called mithya. So it appears. Incidental attributes is pratiti. There's another word used in a shastra. Incidental attribute is pratiti. I am a Jagrat Purusha. I am a waker is merely a pratiti. There is no reality in that. To come to close to the Gaudapadacharya's teaching, I am telling you, there is no reality in that. It is simply your notion that I am a waker. The reality of the waker is vacharambhanam. There is no reality at all. Please understand me. You may feel little odd, but I am telling you the truth is this. Because what happens is, when I gave introduction to Mandukya Upanisad initially, I told that this is, Drishti Srushtivada and Srushti Drishtivada I discussed. So we basically in a tradition, like our Pujya Swamiji's teaching and all, we accept Srushti Drishtivada. There is a Srushti and, there is experiencer of the Srushti. And experiencer definitely has this invariable consciousness. That doesn't go away. The experiencer may resolve in a deep sleep state. The knower, etc. may resolve. Knowerhood can go away. But the knowledge, that consciousness never goes. Nahi drashtuhu drashtehe viparilopo vidyate. Bhashyakara also says, quotes again. Vijnatuhu vijnatehe viparilopo vidyate avinashitvat, etc. My point is, so that's a reality. When you say that, then everything becomes just a pratiti. Merely pratiti. Like a spandanam. Just a spandanam. Even we should not say spandanam. Something is happening. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Only everything is vacharambhanam. I am a karta, vacharambhanam. I am a bhokta, vacharambhanam. I am a human being, vacharambhanam. I am, that self-awareness is the reality. That's it. Whatever you say after I am, yes, Swamiji, there is a Vyavahara reality. There is all just to begin with, I am telling you. It's just to begin with. When you dive into what you are, really speaking, everything is merely a vacharambana. Just nothing else. So entire waking state, etc., looks so large, but has no substantiality, really speaking. When you go to sleep, what is there of the waking world which is so substantial, that which has been carried forward, which is real and therefore carried forward, which cannot be negated? Nothing. But right now you feel that it is too much. Waking world is too much. The waker who experiences this waking world also is overwhelmed by this waking world, etc. It is purely ignorance. Purely ignorance. Purely error. All that is there is one dense consciousness, nothing else. Nothing else. All the three states and all that is just kalpita, purely kalpita. But we don't take this drishti srushtivada, therefore we say experiences are there and all, that's fine. But really speaking, experiences are there means something is happening in consciousness. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Just a pratiti. Since the body, etc., all that is just pratiti. And ahankara, etc., all that is pratiti. Anyway, so this is we should understand here that turiyam, with a second interpretation, turiyam should be understood as a invariable, unchanging. Look at that. Invariable means unchanging. A iota of change also is not occurring in you. Then what about changes? That's all purely ignorance. Purely ignorance. Invariable self-awareness obtaining in all the states. So that's what Bhashyakara says. Turiyasya adhigame. Well, pramanam. This recognition is a pramana that self-awareness has not undergone any change. Anyway, but Swamiji, body has changed, you right? And self has not changed. There are no two things. There are no two things. If there are two things, where is Advaita? Where is Advaita? Oh, all that is there is Atma. Then what about the body which is undergoing change? That's what I say. Pratiti. It's called Pratiti. Where is body without is consciousness? Where is that? Therefore, it is just a form which appears like a changing form, is really merely, that's what, if you want to count, that much you can count. That superficial changes. That's what I say, pratiti. Superficial changes. No change is occurring. Please be understood. Understand this. That's how one of the Vedanta traditional Vedantins in India, they are there. So acharyas, great acharyas are there, who talk, when Mandukya etc. comes, they definitely talk about drishti srushtivada. Because Atma is Chatushpad has been told, but ultimately the Turiya has been narrated to negate. When you understand Turiya, in Turiya, nothing is there. Neither waker, neither dreamer, neither deep sleeper. You begin with the experiences and analyze experiences to arrive at the truth called Turiya. Once you know you are Turiya, all things are just apparent. Apparent means apparent. Purely apparent. Mithyatvam comes to that point. Simply apparent. Then you understand that you are the Prajnana Gana. Our Prajnana Gana. What is there is just me, nothing else. There is no hole in this whole. All that is there is consciousness, starting from space. Everything is just me. So I am Turiya. So Turiya is I. That you can say very well with this second interpretation. Because Bhashyakara says Ekaha Atma Pratyaya. Atma Pratyaya, the self-awareness, is invariable. Ekaha, invariable through the recognition of Balyadishwar, or through the recognition of these different states of experience called waking, etc. You understand very clearly that self-awareness is invariable, and that is therefore what Turiya, the description of Turiya in the seventh mantra is nothing but this self-awareness, or which is in the form of this I. Therefore, I am that Turiya. So that is, the second interpretation is better than even the first one. And this idea is conveyed in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 147 and Purushavida Brahmana. And there the Upanishad talks about the variable one as a prananneva prano nama bhavati vadan vak pashan chakshuhu shunman shrotram manvano manaha. Means I am a talker, I am a hearer, I am a smeller, etc. All this I claim. Well, definitely. So, means they are so incidental. When hearing is there, you say I am hearer. Then talking is there, you say you are talker. When the walking is there, you say you are walker, etc. So they are just incidental attributes, right, of the same Atma. And what is there is invariable is self-awareness, right? The self-awareness that I was a walker, then I was a talker, then I was a eater. The same I is now listener. So self-awareness remains in all. This is invariable. Talkerhood, etc. is a variable thing, and variable means you can understand exactly like this. That's how Puja Swamiji's this explanation of the word mithya I really like, and that is he says pot is a incidental attribute of clay. That's it. It's not intrinsic. So all that is there, well, there is no reality of the pot, but still we say incident attribute of the pot because you experience it, you feel water, etc., and so you say there is a pot, etc. Really speaking, what I mean, other than the word pot, there is no object pot outside in the world. All that is there is clay alone, right? So that is how it is. So this you meditate and understand Atma like this. So this is a message conveyed here. Atma iti eva upasita jnaniyat. So may you know the Atma in your waking state right now. You may not sit even nididhyasanam. The whole waking state is nididhyasanam. I am listening right now. A listener hood is, or hearer hood, or a here this the status of a hearer is incidental, right? It's just incidental. I remain is the self-awareness remains throughout the waking state in various roles, in various ahankaras, and all these various ahankaras have no connection with me. If they have some connection, if they can affect me, etc., well, then the self-awareness as an invariable cannot remain, but it remains. And therefore, they are just incident attributes, they are mithya. I am unconnected, unaffected by them. So Atma iti eva upasita. Atma iti eva janiyat. May you know the Atma is an invariable thing. And otherwise also pratibodha viditam matam, etc. You know very well. In all forms, various cognitions, various, the particular knowledge, all that is there is consciousness, nothing else. Is consciousness is an invariable thing. That's how even in the between two thoughts also you are there. Otherwise, how will you say that now the one thought has gone, the other thought is arising now? So in between there is a gap. To appreciate gap, you must be there, aware of the gap. So if you are there in between the gap. You are, when the thought is gone, when thought is there, you are very much there, illumining thought. When the thought is gone, you are very much there. It's not that thought is gone, you are gone. You say thought is gone. So now there is absence of thought. So you are very much there. To be aware of the absence of thought. You are free basically. You are thought-free consciousness, silence consciousness. Anyway, so my point is consciousness remains invariable in all pieces of knowledge, etc. Any thought becomes an experience or a piece of knowledge, piece of cognition when connected with the consciousness. When connected cannot come. In fact, all thoughts arise in consciousness and subsides in consciousness. There is not outside consciousness anything. So it's just consciousness. You are very much present. You are there all the time there. Thought arise. So mind, become awake. So thoughts arise because mind is already conscious. It arises from consciousness, is already conscious. And then in conscious mind, aham vritti arises, ahankara arises, and idam vritti arises. As per the idam vritti arises, well, the ahankara also, being a owner of that, being a subject of that, undergoes modification. A thought of sight, then seer. Thought of a hearing, then hearer, etc. But all that is non-separate from you, the consciousness. That's how we say Sakshi. Sakshi. But anyway, so this is up to this we'll keep, and further we'll see on Wednesday. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.